You know, we've all got this incredible, powerful thing sitting in our heads, but it's not like it came with a user's manual, right? A lot of the time, we're just kind of coasting along for the ride. But what if you could actually tune its performance? In this explainer, we're going to dig into some simple, science-backed ways to upgrade your brain's hardware, optimize its maintenance, and debug its software.
So, let me ask you something. Does it feel like your brain is always on your team, or does it sometimes feel like it's, well, working against you? We're going to explore how you can get more of a say in how your own mind works and turn it into a much more reliable partner. And let's start with something you probably don't even think about.
Okay, first up, light. I know it sounds weird. When we think about brain performance, we're usually thinking about stuff that happens inside our heads. But it turns out simple external factors can physically change how your brain is performing, and it can happen almost instantly.
So check this out. There was this fascinating study where researchers took a group of people and had them sit in front of either a blue light or a regular amber light for just 30 minutes. Right after that, they put them into an fMRI machine to scan their brains while they did a pretty tough memory test.
And the results were kind of amazing. The blue light group wasn't just saying they felt more alert. Their brains were measurably faster at working memory tasks. That's your ability to juggle information. And the scan showed their prefrontal cortex, basically the brain's CEO, was lighting up with more activity. The craziest part? This boost stuck around for at least 40 minutes after the light was turned off.
I mean, a quick cognitive boost is one thing, and that's pretty cool. But what if light could do more than just sharpen your focus for a bit? What if it could actually help heal the brain from serious damage or disease? This is where the science starts to get really, really exciting.
There's this emerging field called photobiomodulation, or PBM for short. Now, it's still in the early days for sure, but the idea is just revolutionary. By applying specific types of light directly to the head, we might be able to stimulate brain cells to repair themselves. We're talking about a potential new tool for things like traumatic brain injury, Alzheimer's, and even depression.
All right, so we've seen how we can actively give our brain a little boost. But what about all the important stuff that's supposed to happen automatically? Let's shift gears and look at a super powerful process your brain runs every single night, completely behind the scenes.
So I want you to meet your brain's very own waste disposal crew. It's called the glymphatic system. And seriously, while you're fast asleep, this thing is hard at work. Its job is absolutely critical. It uses cerebrospinal fluid to literally wash away all the junk that builds up during the day. We're talking nasty stuff like beta amyloid and tau proteins, the very things linked to Alzheimer's.
Okay, so if this cleanup is so important, is there anything we can do to make it work better? Well, you're not going to believe this, but research on rodents found a ridiculously simple answer: your sleep position. It turns out that sleeping on your side is way more efficient at clearing out that waste than sleeping on your back, and much, much better than sleeping on your stomach.
We've covered the hardware and the maintenance. Now let's talk about the software. You know, the code that's running inside our own minds. We're going to tackle a really common bug in that system, the overthinking trap, or what scientists call rumination.
It is so easy to trick ourselves into thinking that overthinking is actually productive. But there's a huge difference. Productive problem solving is all about finding solutions and taking action. You see a storm is coming, you prepare for it. Simple. Overthinking, on the other hand, just dwells on the problem, spinning its wheels and making you feel awful without ever moving forward. Does any of this sound a little too familiar? Constantly replaying a conversation, second-guessing every little decision, imagining the absolute worst-case scenario. Or that feeling at night when you're just exhausted but your brain will not shut off. Yep, those are all classic signs you're caught in that overthinking loop. And look, this isn't just some harmless bad habit. It has real consequences. In fact, one study found a genetic correlation of 0.83. That's a huge number between brooding, which is a form of overthinking, and depression. It just shows how tightly this mental habit is wired to our mood.
So we've identified the problem, we know it's a big deal. But here's the really good news. You are not powerless here. There are actual concrete techniques you can learn to break the cycle and get back in the driver's seat. Let's walk through them.
Okay, here's a simple but super powerful 4-step framework. First, distract yourself. Go do something healthy that forces your brain to focus on something else. Second, challenge that negative thought. Is it really 100% true? Third, meditate. It's like practice for your brain in redirecting its focus. And finally, accept.
Instead of beating yourself up for past mistakes, practice a little self-compassion.
Let's make this real. Let's take that challenge step. Picture this. You walk out of a meeting and that little voice in your head starts up. I always say the wrong thing. Everyone in there must think I'm an idiot. It feels totally true in that moment, right? But is it? Now let's try reframing it. See the difference? It is huge. We've gone from a hopeless, all-or-nothing judgment to a realistic observation that actually leads to a constructive plan. That is how you take your power back from a negative thought.
All right, let's bring this all home. We've talked about external factors like light, internal processes like the brain's cleanup crew, and the software of our own thoughts. Now let's wrap it all up into a practical brain health toolkit that you can start using, like today.
So here's what you really need to remember, your key takeaways. If you need a short-term mental boost, think blue light. Want to get the most out of your brain's nightly cleanup? Try sleeping on your side. Feeling stuck in a mental loop? Ask yourself, am I dwelling or am I problem solving? And if you catch yourself overthinking, use those 4 steps to break the cycle.
The biggest thing to take away from all this is that your brain isn't some fixed piece of hardware that you're just stuck with. You have real, actual influence over it, from the light that hits your eyes, to the way you sleep, to the thoughts you choose to listen to. So the only question left is, what are you going to optimize first?